NRL Fantasy live show. We're sticking to Thursday here, even though there's no Thursday game. But you know what? Bit of footy for your night here, guys. Jumping on with us. Welcome back. I'm Longy, and we have the man himself with a new nickname. You're gonna have to explain why you've got this nickname, man. Go for a lap. Do a bit of bragging while you're at it.
This is the half the reason why I was so excited for coming on today. Simi Sasagi, I copped a lot of flack the week before. He scored like a 12. He barely played any minutes. And people were teasing me, like I didn't make it last week. And there was all these comments like, oh, Turtles got benched because he bought Simi Sasagi, captain JC. I copped everything. And then last week, I scored a monster like 1,050. So I'm back here bragging about Simi. I'm doing my victory laps. No one else should be getting this guy because it's literally a 1 week rental and you're too late. I got this guy at 280K and he's shot up in price, and I'll get one more good price rise out of him and he's probably out of the team. So victory laps for Simi Sasagi, and now turned into the Simi Turtle.
Mate, it's not the worst thing in the world because you were talking about him, and I remember I wasn't super keen on him at the time. And this injury that's popped up to Hudson Young, it's definitely helped. And he's just an attacking master. Like, he's actually playing great footy, like career best footy. So do you think there's any world where you get a bit lucky and he ends up being a season keeper? Because it's starting to feel like you might just have one of those runs.
Yeah, so it's either Hudson Young or Hosking that needs to go down. So Hudson Young has already got a lingering issue, which it's kind of helping my case. And he got rested last week just because he was expected to play Origin.
Yep.
The bye next week kind of puts a stop to all this, like because he's going to get an extra week's rest. Hosking looked amazing last week as well. Like he scored 70 points in fantasy. So the future isn't bright for Simi Sasagi, but I've made my cash. He's a center that I'm playing this week, and this week everyone's scrambling for centers. The fact that center is so barren this week, we're actually talking about playing 12 players instead of 13. Like that's in the conversation because center is so terrible at the moment. Because you don't really want to spend too much because everyone has like Herbie Farnworth and Dylan Lucas, and you already got like really expensive centers. Do you really? And like I think a lot of people last week bought Kiraz as well, so they have 3 massive centers, and it's like, oh, do I really want to spend up and get like Marky Mark? You're going for someone cheap, or you're playing with 12.
Yeah, it's a tough one. And if you're lucky enough to have, I don't say it's lucky enough to have, but lucky enough to have Jackson Purdue sitting on your side, even though he dropped 40K last week, you just got to ride that wave and cop another loss here and hope he gets some ball. Because at the start of the year, he was a mid-40s average at the center spot. So nothing suggests that he can't get back to that this week. He just didn't get a lot of ball. It was a wet weather game last week. If it's a dry game, he should be relatively solid. Now, let's quickly jump through some chat here too. And before we do, just shout out, guys. This show is sponsored by SmartB. So they're actually how we were able to get this show going. So love you guys at SmartB. They've got a new promo, and we're going to talk about more when we build our SmartB sides. But every single week, whoever the top scorer is total across all games wins a free jersey. So not only the State of Origin where they give away 5 jerseys, now every week there's a free jersey being given out. So, hey, if you follow this channel, you really shouldn't be buying jerseys ever. Like, you should be getting free jerseys across the board and, being looked after a bit. And I'll shout out another sponsor here too, Swiftex as well. They've got me going down to State of Origin next week on my birthday, 9th of July. So super stoked with that too. Now let's look at the chat here. Let's answer some questions. So fire through your questions, guys. Then we'll talk about captains, buys, sells, all that sort of jazz. We think it's going to explode, and a few late changes as well. That Jack Bird rumor, we'll talk about that towards the end too. Munster smells. The Munster hate has to stop. It's got to stop. It has to stop. Munster is a season keeper. In fact, I feel like I need to make some kind of bet here. I'll think about it for next week, but I think for the run home, round 20 to round 27, he averages 60 plus. So I'll think of a bet we can make here. Turtles, are you against me, or are you with me on that?
So I know you have Munster. I have Jerome Hughes, and I don't think you're buying Jerome Hughes because you already have Munster and, let's say, Nico Hines, and you're probably looking to get like Cleary or something back. Why don't we bet Hughes versus Munster?
Oh, that's good. That's so juicy.
Round 20 to round 27, and we got to think of a punishment for the loser. we can let the crowd decide. We can let our fans decide the punishment, whether it be drink 50
Yeah.
beers or something ridiculous.
Is drinking 50 beers a punishment? Is that a...
It is for me. I'm a lightweight. I cannot handle my beers.
Oh, yeah.
So you might lose on purpose.
Yeah. See, I reckon I can nail that. But yeah, guys, let us know. What do you think is a good punishment here for the loser of this one? Jarom Hughes versus Cam Munster. I saw a good one today. It's actually the punishment in my Supercoach Draft League as well. The loser has to go to a public space and sing Sweet Caroline loudly to no crowd with no warning. So that could be an option. But yeah, let us know, guys. We'll have a look at the options. We've got Nas in the movie theaters watching us on the phone. Mate, that brightness better be very low or people are going to be pretty mad. Good to see you, Isora. Mate, Isora with a great ranking here as well. Absolutely killing it right now. Wonder what drew Turtle to someone like Sasangi. I think he's commenting on your beautiful jacket, mate. Is that new or have you had that for a while?
I've had this for a while. So my friend Omar, his brother-in-law is Aiden Caesar. So there was a year where the Canberra Raiders went all the way to the grand final. I think it was 2019, and then they lost to the Roosters. And then I think after that, he ended up going to the Titans or something. But I got Aiden Caesar's training jacket with me right now. So it was a nice little hand-me-down, but it fits me perfectly. So I think I'm a bit taller than Aiden, but we're similar build size. Like he's a bit stuffy there.
Caesar was a weapon too. He was gun, like especially in that team. Played pure
that team was
7.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, get him on the show, mate. We got Owen Paddy here from Canberra too. He's not trading this week, but he wants the Simi Turtle stream. So I think you're just going to become Simi Sasangi. That might be a nickname at this point. Good question here: is Galvin a good purchase? I think we're on the same page here, Turts, but it's if he's named to start, right?
Yeah, I think we have to see something solid from the Bulldogs where they have to announce that there's a positional switch or I want Galvin if he's playing 80 minutes. I don't want Galvin if he's playing 20 or 30 off the bench as like an impact player. I want an 80-minute half at that price. Yeah.
Yeah, and they brought him in to be that, so I don't know, it has to happen at some point, right? Like, bit of a weird one at the Dogs there. I think they just bought him so Parramatta couldn't have him. We got John. How you doing, man? Sure. Silly Turtle. You're an enigma on this channel, man. Like when you weren't here last week, people were freaking out. Like, they were just like, "Oh, what are we gonna do?"
I was actually, I think I jumped in because I was in a truck and I was working late, and I jumped on for like the first 10 minutes, and I just remember copping so much flack. It's like Turtle's got benched, man. He's done the wrong thing and he's gone off the show. Like, and I'm just like, oh man, like I hope I have a good week just so I can come back.
Oh, mate, it's not performance based. If it was, I would have been cut the last couple of weeks. It's been absolutely brutal for my team, man. No men's footy Thursday night. Look, yeah, these major buy rounds are absolutely brutal. We got some NRLW on tonight though, so Parramatta are playing. I believe it's the Sharks tonight, so definitely tune into that if you're craving some footy. That'll be right after we finish up the live, so that could be a belter. And then to the Raiders, yeah, Raiders have a pretty solid NRLW side. I remember seeing some highlights out of them. Have you seen much of them, Turtle?
Not too much of them. Like I usually watch Women's Origin, and occasionally, like I think the past year I played was it the Bundy Mixer? So I watched a few games to start. Which is whenever I have a chance and it's just like it's not clashing with any other footy, then I'll definitely tune in.
Yeah, I went to a couple of games last year too. It's good footy. It's a bit different to the men's game. It's almost a bit like sometimes you look at the men's game, it's a bit too structured. It's a bit too sort of formulaic, the men's game sometimes. The women's game is very, how do I describe it? It's a bit like footy was 15, 20 years ago, where you've got a dominant player that sort of has their hands on the ball a lot more and it's a bit more off the cuff. So pretty entertaining footy. I definitely recommend it. We've got a few people playing 10 this week. That's dangerous.
That's harsh.
And then Tamari Martin Cheapy next week. This is a good shout here. So we'll keep an eye on Tamari Martin. No guarantee he gets a spot. What I've heard is Tamari Martin I think he's ahead because he's in the first grade side, but he's playing that 5-10 minute role off the bench. Whereas Tanner Boyd's in the reserve grade side who've won, is it 12 games in a row or something like that? Like it's something ridiculous. And Tanner Boyd's been kicking, the leather off the ball kind of thing. So there's every chance Tamari Martin doesn't get that spot. If he doesn't get the spot, we'll end up going with Talon De Silva. it's like a 40, 50-minute, hooker role for him, but I think that's enough for a cash out to be effective and somewhat useful off your bench. Captain Galvin here, Aitken to Fiketti. Turtle, throw this one to you. Is it worth it or not worth it?
I'm not trading green dots for green dots at the moment. No, not worth it.
Yep, fair play. And then keeping Aitken. I will say if Aitken was 5 points worse of a scorer and Fiketti was, 300K, that'd be a bit different. But yeah, or if you need numbers for next week, I don't mind it. But it sort of has to really be justified. And then here we go. We've got some punishment options. We've got a few people back in Cam Munster as well. Munster all the way to 27. That's good. Good to see. Having Nico is sad. Noz just roasts me these days. He used to be so nice to me, but now off beating. We got good punishment. Turtle is to grow out a blonde goatee.
Oh man, I can't even grow facial hair. Like this is like, I'll zoom in here. This is like 4 weeks of facial hair growth.
Thank God we have the new camera for you, so we can see those tiny
little hairs. I don't grow facial hair. I don't grow much hair. I don't know. Like maybe because I'm Asian, but I've seen some Asians with some pretty thick beards. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just unlucky.
Well, if I lose the bet, I'll dye my beard blonde.
Yes,
like bleach blonde with the dark eyebrows. That would be
oh, you sure you want to roll the dice with that?
I'm rolling the dice with that. I'll roll the dice with that. It's end of season, right? So I don't need to be that good looking in the off season anyway. I just end up, out and about. So loser has to captain the person in round 27. Isn't a bad shot. If it's really, if there's a bit of a gap, I don't mind that. If they're really close, we might need it.
Storm might rest all their players round 27. We might lose. If I lose fantasy because of that, I can't do that.
Yeah. Bird the word. We'll talk about Bird. So we've got a segment later about the late changes. There's some rumors sort of going around. So hoping something comes through. Now let's tear into captains here. And a few people have been astute and noticed that I've snuck Adam Dewey into the captain lineup here. But look, this week's a weird week. Like it's a strange week. And you've got a lot of options here. There's some fixtures. A lot of teams are arresting a lot of guys with Origin, that kind of thing. So you can really pick who you want to pick. We'll start with Terrell May. There's a lot of easy points. I'll throw him to you first, Turtle. Like, what do you think of Terrell May? Like, percentage-wise, what percentage of people do you think should be captaining Terrell May this week, and why is he the option that's number one?
I reckon 95% of people are going to be captaining Terrell May. The reason why is he just gets through his work. It's very, there's nothing explosive about it. It's boring work. He makes his heaps of tackles. He takes heaps of runs. He's always puts his hand up to take a hit up, whereas it looks like half the Tigers team just hands on hips. They're not even asking for the ball, where Terrell May will like line himself up and be like, I'll take the next run, which is encouraging. The only downside is I believe in the past few weeks, he's kind of going down in minutes, and you see him getting taken off just before halftime. And then like not too long into the second half, he gets thrown back in. So we're not getting the 80 minutes that we're used to out of Terrell May. I'm not sure what's going on there with the Tigers and that rotation, but he's just the safest option out of everyone up here.
Yeah, minutes have been high 60s the last 2 weeks. I will shout out Revenge Game. So he's up against his old club in the Roosters. I like that. I think Terrell May is the kind of guy who's going to take that personally as well. So I could see him potentially being really effective in this one. I think the Tigers, if they're going to win this game, they're thoroughly outclassed in the back line this week. So their forward pack is full strength right now. They're going to have to be better in the forwards because the Chooks are missing basically their entire starting forward pack. Amazing juniors coming through, but the Tigers need to win the pack. So I think we see a big game from Terrell May. I think we maybe see some attacking stats as well. He's my captain this week, but it is a bit of a boring one. So we can talk through some other options. And guys, drop a note here too. Who are you captaining this week? Let us know if it's anyone. You can put Terrell May in there if you want, but if it's someone else that's interesting, you got a reason, I'd love to hear that as well. I've got a few suggestions for punishments as well. Having to wear the opponent's jersey to a game. So I have to wear a Canberra jersey. That'd be nice. I could wear a jersey of a team that's in the finals. So
I'll give you an option. I'll give you an option because I'm actually a Broncos supporter, but if I had to pick another team, it would probably be the Raiders because I've just friends used to play for it and stuff. So like, just always have the attachment with Raiders, and everyone likes Big Papa, so you can't not love him as a player. So yeah, I'll give you an option. You can choose Raiders or Broncos, and it looks like I'm stuck with do they even sell para jerseys anymore?
Oh wow. Okay. Right. Geez. That's no. I think they have women's jerseys in your size, so you should be okay. But
I need that what's it called, double D support area.
oh mate. Look, don't tempt us. You know, we're an all male cast. We sort of need to diversify at some point, I think.
Mm.
The viewership is like 98% male. It's a very very duty sort of field. Up the milk, got some Canberra love here. A lot of love for May this week as a captain. Round 20, selling Tarpanator Haas. Not a bad shout. Kolomatangi as a captain. Let's talk about him because he's on the graphic here. He was shocking last week. Really bad. I thought he would be better last week. I wasn't considering him as a captain option. I just sort of thought, the Dolphins, really small forward pack. We're going to see him step up and dominate. He got curb stomped across the board in real footy and in fantasy as well. I think it was 38 points in about 60 minutes. So even though the minutes were down, Terrell May played 68 minutes and scored 70 plus, right? So if he's going to be in that conversation of the top guys, he needs to do better than 38. It's a risky captain this week. I think they're up against Manly. So you could make the same case and say, weaker forward pack of Manly should be good, but it didn't work last week. Do you have any love for Kolomatangi this week, Turts, or not really?
The issue with like the Rabbits and Keon, like we loved his scores when he was playing 80 minutes and he was like just staying in the middle. It wasn't like he was shifting to an edge or anything like that. It was 80 minutes in the middle. He was doing what Terrell May was doing earlier before he started getting reduced minutes, and we love that. But at the same time, 80 minutes in the middle can't be sustainable for these forwards. And we know how fit Terrell May is, and even the Tigers are trying to manage his workload at the moment. So I feel like Wayne Bennett's kind of just looked at that, and I think he had like 3 or 4 games back to back, 80 minutes, and he's just like, oh, you know what, we're going to rest you a little bit and let some of the other guys do some stuff, because the Rabbits in their forward pack, they don't really lose anyone to Origin. Like Jai Arrow's still playing for the Rabbits and stuff, so he's trying to shift the workload. And then we saw a massive uptick in Tallis Duncan, both in attack and defense. He was like getting like 40 tackles a game, which is crazy for him. And then last game, he just got fed heaps of good ball from his halves and stuff. So Keon kind of got given a rest. They kind of got stomped in real life as well. Like it was like they got 50 points put on them, like or more than that. I can't remember the exact score, but I just knew there was more than 50. So they kind of just rolled on their belly and was just like, okay, let's leave it at that. And they just leaked too many points. It was just a anomaly of a game, I guess. But I'm not confident in captaining Keon this week, not at all.
I feel the same way. It was just too bad last week, and they have a very middle forward heavy bench with a lot of like quality guys. They're not guys that pop up on fantasy, but when Jai Arrow's around and he's playing in the middle, when you've got Tola, for example, he's not discussed, but he was a fringe Origin guy for a while there. Kepi was a high profile signing at the time. Like they got a lot of guys who do deserve minutes, so it's pretty easy to fade. Kickout's an interesting one. We'll talk about Kickout and Preston here. We should probably I was thinking about this, Turtle, before. We should probably do like with the captains. Like we can be sensible and say what we like give the real takes, or we could go for and against. So one of us has to go for, like argue for that captain, and one of us has to argue against.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to do that. That'll make it interesting.
Do you want a for or against on Kickout?
I'll go for. So Kickout when what was it last time they played with our Origin stars, it was like round 15. Kickout stepped up. So when the team was looking for leadership, they lost the first round in round 12 because I think Bulldogs played all the major bye rounds. So in round 12 they got stomped. Round 15 they came out. Kickout took the leadership role. I'm pretty sure he stepped in at captain as well, and he took that to heart. He made big plays. He was looking for charge downs. He was offloading like no tomorrow, and he just kept attacking like constantly, like trying to make line breaks and stuff and offloading and all that. So if he gets, he should probably does he get captain again? I can't remember the team list, but usually when they're out, if we're going off like I don't know recent history, then if he steps up again, I think it's a pod play. Obviously, there's safer captain's options out there, but Broncos are severely undermanned. They lost their Origin stars. News came out today that Corey Jensen and Jesse Arthurs are out. So I think they're missing close to half their starting team. So Kickout up against some of these small, I think we were starting a rookie prop as well, up against some of these smaller forwards and not running up against Payne Haas or Pat Carrigan or like defensive giants, basically. Kick-out can actually tear it up here. I'm expecting Kick-out for a big game here. Captain Roulette, if you want a spicy captain and you're really desperate, Kick-out's not a bad shout. I don't mind it.
I'll argue against then because I think the Dogs, Kick-out obviously is a bit risky, very attacking stat reliant. So you're relying on big attacking stats here. And the Dogs' attack hasn't been super hot this year, as much as they're at the top of the table. They're not a team who runs away with the game and racks up big points. So, they scored 6 points last week. Jacob Preston was really the only attacking spark for them in that game. And I think with Preston back, they're going to keep going back to him over and over again as well. The other thing is Jacob Preston on that edge, he's got a bit of a weaker edge now with a few guys missing. So I think Preston gets a lot more attention and is a much better captain option if you're jumping on one of these guys. I will say for the Dogs too, they're not a team who, they haven't cracked 40 points. I think I'm having to look through. This whole year they haven't gone over 40 points. So I don't see them running up a score. And I think if they get ahead in this game against an understrength Broncos, they put the cue in the rack a bit. The other thing is the Broncos last time they played the Dogs absolutely pounded them, 42-18. Very different Broncos side, right? But you could say the Broncos have the wood on them. So that's the counter case I'll make. Now, other captain options here. We've got a few guys here. Let's grab a couple here from this list that we like. So if total from this list, non-Terrell May, non-Keon Kolomatangi, if we were going to go for one, which one we'd go for? I'm probably thinking, if I was going for one, I'd probably go James Tedesco in this game. I just reckon he's going to get through a mountain of work in this one. I think the Roosters and the Tigers will be more competitive than people think, but it will be high scoring. I think the score will, probably favor the Roosters at the end of the game, but the Tigers forward pack should be in it. So I'll say Tedesco. I think he gets through a ton of work. I think it's 10 plus tackle breaks. And if I was going to go for a crazy captain, he's probably the guy I'd go for.
Yeah, to counter that, I won't give the negatives of why Teddy will be bad. I think he will be good. But instead, I'm actually going to go to Marky Mark here. So I reckon, wild guess, Marky Mark outscores Teddy this week. It's a bit wild. It's a bit of a pod play. But Tigers, I think Random Stats Guy or something, posted earlier today and was Tigers have not won a game without Api Coruscant in the team, which is ridiculously shocking. And I think he's only been there a few years, but Api Coruscant changes that whole team. His creativity as dummy half, his leadership as well, and organizing the team is crucial for Tigers to get a win. And Tigers don't get too many wins, so it's without him, I feel like they're just going to be running around a little bit headless. It won't really affect Terrell May and his numbers too much because he's a forward playing in the middle. But on the outside backs, I think the Tigers' right edge is a lot stronger, where they have Starfatoa as the center. But on the left side for Tigers, but then right side for Roosters, you have Marky Mark playing up in the centers. Taruva, usually the wing he's up against, is playing fullback. So it's going to look a little bit shocking there. He's up against, I think, Skelton on the wing as well. And Skelton's a big damaging player, but Marky Mark has the agility, the creativity, the spark. He's gonna do some wild stuff this week. If anyone is changing, swapping out guns and they're trying to fill up that center role, Marky Mark's probably the only clear option at the moment. Everything else kind of looks a little bit gross. And I don't know. I feel Marky Mark's going to have a big game. I reckon 2 tries, maybe 2 try assists and some big attacking stats.
Yep, fair shout. I don't mind that. That's why he was on the pod. I think it was pod of the week for us this week. So I'm with you there. I think he could be a massive smoky. Dragons next week too, which is a good matchup. So there's a few people captaining Talis Duncan as well. I think that one's pretty insane. No, that's not it. There's no way. I reckon he has a quieter one this week. You've got some support on Marky Mark as well. The other one I'll shout out before we move into buys, sells, and trades and that kind of thing is potentially you go for the Storm and you pick one of those guys. And it's Eli Katoa, it's Jerome Hughes, it's Ryan Pappenhausen. Probably they're the 3 that you'd be thinking about in this Storm team. I reckon you're pretty certain that one of them goes 80 plus, or at least 70 plus in this game. Can I tell you which one it is? No, I can't. Can I guarantee that the ones who don't will go above 40? No, I can't. So, you've got this like shot at potentially glory, but also a pretty low floor for all three guys. Like even Jerome Hughes, as much as I love him, and he's been on our buy list for about a month now, and he's probably a bit priced out now, his floor is quite low. Like he has that 35-point game in him as well. I don't think it's going to be this week, but couldn't you see it? Like if the Storm do rack up a win here, that Tyron Wishart comes out and just scores all the tries. Like it could go that
Yeah.
way. It's a bit risky.
Yeah, definitely. I'll counter that. Like, I 100% agree. Like, with the key players in Storm, someone's going to go big. You just don't know who it is. So I understood that completely, and I countered that by just buying all three.
Funny captaining though, man.
I'm not captaining any of them because it's the chance that one of them goes big. It's an equal chance. They're all equal chance to go really big or go really low. I don't know. I'm not captaining any, but I bought all three.
What about Grant Anderson, KPMF CEO? He's a Grant Anderson guy.
Grant Anderson. Oh, it's a spicy center. So this is what I mean. Like the center options this week are pretty shocking. There's people buying Grant Anderson and Kane Bradley, and I know Jack Bird's currently in contention at the moment. And it's like, they're just so hit and miss. Like with these players, like their base is very low. If they don't get the attacking stats, you can expect a 20 or lower, which is that's definitely not worth a trade.
Yeah, you want that consistency. So like Isaiah Tass, right? He never scores below 10 or above 20. Like that's no. I will say Kane Bradley though. It's a cash out. Maybe he scores a bunch of tries. His average is it's 27 with 3 tries in 4 games. So it's not great. It's not great, but yeah, I would think about potentially just not either doing a cash out that suits the team or just not trading. Now let's tear into our first of our SmartB sides for this week, and I'm going to jump into. We won't go Origin here. All comps. Link is in the description, by the way, guys. If you want to jump in this, so we'll just go free comps, that little tab there, and we'll jump into Dogs v Broncos. I reckon that's a cracker. That's your team here, Turtle, too. So we can see your boys. We'll see how much you really back the Broncos here. And they've made a bit of a change, too. So what they've allowed now is guys picked on the bench, you can plug them in anywhere. So we'll just rank these by average. So you're going to see a few guys here that, like Galvin, for example, on the back line that you might not normally see. But back 5 here. I'll start. And I think we have to jump on Selwyn Cobbo at fullback. Revenge game. He's out there. He's playing for his life at this point. I reckon he has a big one.
I'm going to go for a cheeky, just Karapani. I feel like a lot of people are buying him at the moment. He relies heavily on attacking stats, so I reckon he drags a try or two here. Like, Broncos are severely undermanned, but so are the Bulldogs. They're just not missing as many players, but that edge has been gone. Like, there's no Crichton, there's no Kiraz. I expect Karapani easy try here.
I'll take Tracy then, fullback. I think gets through a mountain of work. You get a bonus for 200 meters plus as well, and I think Tracy's a great chance at that. Then we got one more each. I feel like
I'm gonna go Stags because I'm a Broncos supporter, and he just has to step up here. Like, we're so on demand, we've got to rely on our senior players.
Beauty. I'll take Bronson Xerri then. I think he gets some mountain of work, and that edge that he's on is pretty much at full strength, so he should be sweet. Then in the halves, do you have any debate with me on this in terms of going Reynolds-Burton?
No, happy with Reynolds-Burton.
Yeah, boom. I think they're the guys. You just want to plug in those top halves. Halves score massive in this game too, so got to plug them in. Then in the back row here,
Preston Kickout.
Yeah, I think Kickout. We'll go Preston as well. And then we got one more spot in the back row. So I mean, Curran off the bench, Jordan Ricky.
Do we do Piakura the GOAT, or
we could do Piakura? I don't mind that. What about Hetherington? Like, does he get a mountain of minutes here?
I think so, because usually their middle's actually lacking a fair bit. We do have a junior prop playing because Jensen's out as well. So I think Hetherington gets an uptick here.
You get the bonus for 50 plus tackles too. So if he plays the full game, Hetherington, I reckon that's a mad smoky, actually. That'll be a good one. Then in the front row, we're plugging in. I mean, Curran's there. We can't do Jensen. Xavier Wilson, I think, is in for a big game. Let's plug him in.
I'm going to pick Reed Marnie for a big game. He's all over the top.
I like that. Reed Marnie. And then last one, probably just go Curran.
Yeah, he's just a workhorse type of player.
Kind of the bench, though, for Curran's not ideal. I might plug Hayes in here, too, on the bench. So final spots here. Galvin, maybe Sexton. Look at Ricky. 2 each. Hayes is there. Ezra Mam. I think the Broncos go good.
Do we do Piakura the GOAT?
I'll go Montoya here, and we'll definitely go Piakura. Yep, good shout. Then down the bottom, nothing too much down the bottom I want to jump onto. So
is Bailey Hayward in there? Is he playing? I forgot the team list for tomorrow.
Yeah, he is. We'll go Hayward as well.
I like Bailey Hayward. I think he's a great player.
Boom. And then captain, vice captain. What do you pick one? I'll pick one. I'm going to say Preston as vice captain.
I'm going to go Cobbo. Cobbo is in for a big game. Can we swap it? Can we go vice captain Cobbo and captain Preston?
Yeah, sure. Let's do that. All right, so vice captain Cobbo, captain Preston. It's been our team, and we're locked in. All right, boom. So I think there's about 12 people in this comp right now. So guys, jump in. Link is in the description of this video. It's SmartB, Smart Play. Just make sure you jump on the free comp there, and you can play along with that too. Now let's find our way back here. We'll jump into the next segment, which is more bragging from Turtles about Simi Sasangi.
Simi Sasangi's amazing. He's going for 60 plus this week. We're up against the Dragons. They copped like 6 or 7 injuries last week and a couple of HIAs on top of that. So, like, was it Canberra? We're only missing Big Papa. Let's go. Simi Sasangi, big game.
Give us an exact score prediction. Exact
68.
number.
68.
68. All right, guys, let us know in the comments what you think Simi Sasangi scores this week. We got the 68 from the Turtle. Beauty, man. Beauty. All right, let's keep rolling through because we've got a bit more to talk about here. So, rolling into the next game here, we've got buys and sells. And for this week, tough week. It's a tough week. So, I mean, from my side, I'm still going back and forth on this. And we have another day to decide. I've got Toby Couchman to sell, obviously, as most people do. And I'm thinking of going cheaper. Fiketti is kind of appealing here. And as much as his PPM isn't great, he's like that 40 average in reserve grade. So not great fantasy pedigree. I just like the attacking upside of him. Right? He's just shown a bit of attacking ability this year. The Roosters have a great run of fixtures here as well. My side probably needs a bit of depth too. So paying a bit extra for that depth isn't the worst thing. And I probably need him for next week as well. And my numbers next week need a bit of help. So I'm thinking Couchman to Fiketti, single trade. That gives me 13. Where are you sitting here, though?
I have 14 playing. So every spot filled plus an extra. My extra is either Drinky or Turbo at the moment. That Simi Sasangi trade has been like absolute gold this week. But next week, I definitely need a trade. I still have Couchman. So I'm feeling next week I'm going to be trading out Couchman and, like, let's say Jazz Tavanga or something, and just filling up my roster because I have way too many Raiders and Manly and Rabbit players. There's just a few too many. Yeah, but we only have to field 13 next week. So if this was old school rules where we had to field 17, I would not be able to do what I'm doing right now. I'm getting away with murder.
Yeah, I miss that though. That pressure in these rounds. It was good. It was really good. I feel like it was a bit easy this year to cover.
They made it too easy. That's what I'm trying to say. They made it too easy. I'm literally getting away with murder right now.
Yeah, got to bring back the pain. Presto, 2 tries here from Andrew. But look, the buys this week, it's tough. Like we talked about it on Buy, Hold, Sell a bunch. Like you can go with some of these guys. Like Karapani, I don't mind him as a buy. He's going to get that dual position. He's going to be depth and that kind of thing. He's about a 40 average historically. So it's not too bad if he keeps his spot. But he is 150K more than a base price guy. So what you got to think about there is it's Karapani plus Drinkwater for your team or Rodwell plus Latrell. You know what I mean? And do you want depth or do you want the top tier keeper? I think this year with the chaos, if you're a bit low on trades, you probably just want to go depth, right? But it does have a cost. Going with a guy that's 400K instead of a guy that's 230, it has a big cost.
Definitely. I feel like Latrell's going to be a big target, and thank God they have the bye next week because everyone has to hold off a little bit more. And I feel like because in round 20 we get more
Mm.
trades, he's going to be like the number one pick because right now he's in no one's sides due to Origin and the bye schedules. So Latrell's going to be a hot topic.
Yeah.
People are going to be cashing out all their mid ranges. Try to avoid trading out guns for non-guns. And I see a lot of trades going out, and like people are like trading Couchman for, I don't know, Tallis Duncan or something, or someone in that
Mm.
mid-range section. And I'm like, oh, you if you have the money, you should just go Preston and like
Yeah.
even just a little bit under. Like I don't mind Ellie Katola or something like that. Just someone who's going to stay in your team for the rest of the year. I have Tallis Duncan on my team, and I don't expect him to stay in the team for the rest of the year unless there's been a shit ton of injuries and he's just forced to stay in my team. Like he's
Yeah.
he's not in my final team at the moment.
I'm with you there. And Cody Walker fed him in that last game.
Mm.
Like Cody Walker was a big part of why he was going so well in that last game. So no, I completely agree with you there. Hey, I was thinking about something too, like while we're here, new segment we could add to this show. What we do, here's what I'm thinking. For each game of the round, I'll grab 2 players, like maybe one from each side, and it's a versus. And you, and whoever else we have on the show, and everyone who's watching along too, everyone votes on which of those players they think is going to score higher. So you've got 8 predictions basically you have to make. So 8 versus, and you got to be like, Matt Burton versus Adam Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
And then one of those for each game, and then we see who can get the perfect week in terms of fantasy predictions. What do you reckon to that?
Yeah, I think that'll be sick as like there'll be a little bit of bias going on because I love my Raiders, I love my Broncos, but yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. I'm always keen for a pod play.
Every week we have Munster versus Hughes on it as well.
Yeah,
So
every single week it has to be like it has to have its own slide.
that's the Storm play. All right, that'd be fun as though, and we can keep a running tally as well. And anyone who submits theirs too, we can include them in the tally as well. All right, that'd be fun. I'll look at adding that for next week. Bye round, mate. So we've got a bit of extra time this week. So I'm just thinking about it, but yeah, pretty easy. I mean, can you get your thoughts here, Turts? If anyone needed a center or needed a hooker or those sorts of positions, it's not a great position to be in. But who would you be targeting at hooker and at the center?
Hooker, what's the Tigers guy's name? Was it Hope?
It's Hope.
Right
The last
now,
Hope. A new Hope.
He's actually a godsend. If you need a hooker or I don't know, I feel like everyone either has Jazz Tavanga or Damien Cook at the moment. But if for some reason you need a mid and you want to play Jazz as a mid, I don't mind the shout of getting Tristan Hope. I feel like he's going to get through his work. If he plays 50, 60 minutes or something, surely he gets a lot of tackles. The Roosters forward pack is missing a lot of their big boppers. Like Lindsay Collins is out, Spencer Linnu's out. You're dealing with Nuffy White, who's menacing, but not as menacing as, I don't know, when they have it at full strength and they're just constantly running massive dudes at you. It's just one guy you have to look out for. And now with Sua Wong out and Crichton, it's like it's a very weak forward pack, but they'll get the job done because their rookies are outstanding. Like Fiketti and Steep are like, I don't know, the future for the Roosters. They're so lucky to have both of them. I think both of them are great players. With more time, maybe 2 years, they're going to be in the starting side easily. But yeah, Tristan Hope, easy cash out. I think in one of your other videos earlier, you're saying that Tigers play like most of the late games in the run home. So like an easy loop option as well. One of the key reasons I bought up Simi Sasagi like 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was like, man, like Raiders haven't had a bye yet. He's going to be an easy loop. He's got that dual position. I think Nicholson went down and was like, oh, Hosking's not even playing. He's 60 minutes at the moment. He was getting like 55 and 58 minutes. I'm like, I don't know. I just saw something in Simi and I'm like, yeah, worst case scenario, he's my loophole option for those buy rounds. Only one of their buys were during the major buy rounds. So I'm like, okay, post Origin, I still have him as 2 loopers. And that was something that wasn't the main reason which I picked him up, but it was definitely a contributing factor. So if you factor that in for Tristan Hope, then I don't know. I feel like looping towards the end of the year is going to be very crucial. Like if you have one player from every team that still has a bye left, and you have that one extra loop, and let's say you're in the top 100 competing for the top prize, that extra loop and you can choose between, like, let's say a Turbo and a Drinky, for example. In this week, I'm looping those two. So if Drinky goes bad against the Storm, suddenly I'm like, okay, I'm going to pick Turbo. Like, Drinky scores a 20. I'm like, yeah, 100%. I'm just playing Turbo on top. And when you're in those top ranks, it's like the looping's so crucial. And I know, yeah, last minute looper, last game looper. I'm keen for Tristan Hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a bit of a rant, but yeah.
Yeah. No, fair. Look, it's not a bad shout. He doesn't play Thursday or Friday any given week. So it's all Saturday, Sunday footy, which is pretty sweet. Starboy's in here too. Good to see Starboy. If you guys don't know, he's part of the private community there. Currently ranked, I think it's 32nd, has 9 trades left, and doesn't need to trade this week.
Absolutely ridiculous. He's in a great spot. Yeah. Absolutely great spot.
Could be a threat for the top spot, like genuinely. I know we love our boy Rasta Thames as well in number 1. But if those two are at the top 2, I'd be pretty happy at the end of the year. That's a position where with 9 trades left, you got a few different strategies you can take. So you can either go hard and really play like we're talking about with those loopholes and sort of play for that high ceiling, or you can hold trades a bit and hope that the end is total chaos. Right? And if it's total chaos at the end, you can make up 50, 100, 150 points a week in the last couple of weeks if there's heaps of restings, heaps of injuries, all that sort of thing. So, yeah, good to see you, man. Then we've got a few more people coming through. A few questions here. Should you do Cook to Latrell after Origin? I think it's a great trade. Unless Damien Cook comes out and plays massive minutes this week. That would be the one thing I would say. But you'll get to see 2 weeks of Damien Cook before Latrell's available in round 20. So, it's a good shout.
I like it. Latrell's going to be the best in his position. His only other competitor is Jaden Campbell because they just have similar scoring profiles. They get kick meters, they get goal kicking, and they're just explosive. Latrell just has the extra add-on running game and attacks the line a little bit more, so it might uptick him a little bit above Campbell. But you ideally want both of them in your team by the end of the year.
Yeah, big time. And Cody Walker aiming for around 20. He's hoping for that. Best cheapy wing fullback this week. You can go right down the bottom. I think Rodwell's not a bad shout. So not a great fantasy pedigree. Averages sort of high 20s in reserve grade, but that Tigers matchup could score a few tries. And theoretically, am I missing someone here? Like theoretically, he would be the first reserve for the Roosters backline, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So next week, Toy comes back. He gets pushed back out, but yeah, if he should be next one up. Yeah. I'll counter that with Kane Bradley. So Fulongo got injured. Warbrick's still a couple of weeks out. They don't have any more wing fullbacks coming in. So there's every chance. Is Howarth meant to be back? Because Howarth could play centre and then Grant Anderson could play wing for Storm.
We're 2 weeks into 3 to 5 weeks for Howarth.
Okay. Yeah. So Kane Bradley, at least he'll play next week, I think.
The issue with Bradley is only centre available, but he's a good shout. It's a good matchup this week against the Cowboys, so could score a bunch of tries. So I don't mind that shout. Then Chibi wing fullback centre, we covered that. So I think he was asking for both actually. So
yeah, there we go. Gave you an option for each.
Yeah, beauty. Tough next year with no buys. It's going to be interesting. Like we're still going to have the Origin period. So next year, actually, let's talk about that because 18 teams next year. So no weekly buys. I think that's great. I hate the weekly buys. I think the random buys like round 8, like round 26 and all that, I think they're trash. I don't like those. I really enjoy the Origin period though. And I think even with even numbers, like back in the day when we had 16 teams in the comp, we were running a bunch of buys. So I think next year we'll just go back to like classic fantasy. If you've been playing for a while, you might remember sort of how that used to be. Trell, Drinky, Campbell, wing fullback for me. Drinky's probably not, I mean, he's not that far below. If the Cowboys get good and he's goal kicking, he should average mid-50s. So you're probably losing a few points on Tedesco, Carraz, these types of guys, but not a lot. So I think that's pretty good. Like Latrell and Campbell, they're the two main guys you sort of really want to have.
Agreed.
Yeah, cool. Now, last thing there. On the buys, new team coming through. That's around 2027. That's gonna be cracker though. I'm keen to see them build the team up. Perth is interesting, so it's I like Perth myself. Who
do you think their marquee signing is going to be? There's rumors it's going to be Ponga at the moment, but Who do you think their marquee signing for Perth is going to be?
Well, why don't we round 2027. Let's get it up. Because I was actually thinking about making a video about this. So we can do a bit of research now. But yeah, so for the Perth Bears, you're looking at 2027 off contracts. So you're probably looking at like at fullback, Dream Buller, Scott Drinkwater, Gutho, Leo Pawadi is not a bad shout. Yongi, Latrell, Pappenhausen, Ponga. There's heaps of options here. Hammer. My view with fullback, Turtle, is you probably want to try and find someone who isn't playing fullback but should be. So Tolu Kola is off contract. If I was a new club, I'd be going, you know what, stuff all these real fullbacks. Let's get Tolu Kola, make him our fullback, just like how the Dolphins brought in the Hammer and gave him that fullback.
Beautiful.
Yeah. That's what I'd be doing at fullback. And that wouldn't be too expensive.
Yeah. Stephen Crichton as well. Stephen Crichton can play fullback, but I'm 100% sure Bulldogs are going to just re-sign him.
They'll want to. They'll definitely want to, yeah. And then, like, across the list, I mean, you know, Ali Tower currently reserves.
What about the halves? What halves are available? Like, who's there? Oh, if they get Nathan Cleary.
Well, they got Cam Munster there. He won't go, but King Tongia is around. Latu Fonu. Kurt Donahue might actually be one that takes a contract offer.
K.O. Weeks. I don't know why he's not in fullback.
Fullback, I reckon. He's having a good time. Flanagan, bring the Flanagans across. Cam Walker is thereabouts. Mitchell Woods, actually, he's super hyped at the Dogs. And they've gone and signed Galvin. So they've basically slapped him in the face. So either him, Mitchell Woods, or Matt Burton's available too. Those guys might be available potentially.
Last week, Finu. Bring all the Finu brothers. All the Finu brothers. You filled half the team.
You just bring them all in. There's actually some good hooker options here too. So depending on how the Paris situation goes, I think Riley Smith is a massive part of Paris' future, by the way. So I don't think it happens. But obviously they have two hookers there. Starling is playing a reserve role. You know, Jaden Brayley is around too. You got Mamazelis, Moser, all not getting enough minutes too. So there's some options here for them. I reckon we make a video about it that we go like full into
who the best team could be for the Bears.
yeah, exactly. Now let's turn to our next game here. So we'll jump on another game. I was thinking, let's go league here. I was thinking we do my competition. We're going to all competitions. I was thinking we go to, I reckon that Roosters Tigers game could be fun. Yeah. Or maybe Storm Cowboys.
Manly
Rabbitohs.
I like Roosters Tigers.
Right, Roosters Tigers. Boom. So guys, if you want to play along too, link is in the description there. So you can make your own team as well. Just make sure you tick the free comps so when you're first trying it out. So for the Chooks, what do we got? Before we get into this, what's your view of this game? So you think the Roosters run up a score, or what do you think?
I reckon they win by 18 or more.
Okay. So hit me with a few Roosters then, because you got
Marky Mark, James Tedesco.
Mm-hmm.
Who's their winger at the moment? What's the new guy's name?
Talking about Rob Ball. You want to go Rob Ball?
I reckon he's in for some tries. Let me have a quick look at the team list. But I know Taruva's playing fullback. I can't remember who's on the wing.
I don't mind Taruva, by the way.
Yeah,
I think we go. Yeah, because he pumped. He's a 200 meters plus guarantee at fullback, like guaranteed. So let's go Taruva, and then we got one more spot. Can we
put Dewey in?
Nah, he'll only be halves. So they update the positions every week.
Yeah. Okay.
Named Stafford Toa could be a shout. Dan Tupou.
Ooh.
I reckon Dan Tupou is going to stroll over some easy tries, man.
Yeah, Tupou. Yeah. If we think Roosters are going to put on a score here, just pick all their wingers.
Yeah. Then at the half spot, Adam Dewey's there. I think we go Dewey for sure.
Yeah, we go.
Is
Dewey.
it Savala for the other spot, or do we go Sandon Smith, or do we have faith in Latu Finu?
I feel like the safe way to go is Savala, but I don't know. I feel like Sandon Smith's due for a game.
Let's go Sandon. Let's go
He's due
Sandon.
for something, yeah.
Oh, but Savala was so good. Like that. We'll go Sandon.
We can go
Take
Savala
Sandon.
if you want to go Savala. He's the
Maybe
safest.
that's Savala on our bench. We'll see if we have time at the end there. Then down the list here, I think Egan Butcher isn't a bad shout. Jack Bird's there if we want to do that. Fichetti. We're going Fichetti for sure.
Fichetti. Steep at lock.
Yeah, Steep at lock. I like that too. So Fichetti, Steep, and do you want Twal maybe? Or Egan Butcher? Or what do you reckon?
Ooh, Twal, Egan Butcher. Twal at lock. He might. I feel like they're going to defend a lot, so he might actually get 50 tackles.
He'll get through work. And then we've got Terrell May, easy option there. He's a bit cheaper because it's on lifetime. Yeah, and Fahu White is a great shout. And last spot, we could put Hope in.
Oh yeah,
I reckon Hope makes like 50 plus tackles bonus. That's kind of what we want there. Then for the rest of the team, I reckon we go Savala for sure on our bench.
Yep.
Then who else do we like? Skelton, maybe Pole.
I don't mind a Pole.
I'm going to go Egan Butcher here too. I think he has a day out.
Yeah.
Then last spot. Stafford Tower, maybe?
Yeah, Stafford Tower. They're going to rely on him.
Gets a bit dry down the bottom there. And captain, vice captain? I'm going to chuck the vice on Taruva, I reckon.
Captain Teddy, then.
Yeah. I reckon fullback Taruva shows out.
Should we captain Marky Mark?
Let's do it. Or do we just go? Do we just go those two, Marky Mark and Tedesco?
But which one do you captain? What's the difference? Is 1.5 versus times 2, right?
Yeah. Let's go Mark. Let's go
Mark for the maximum upside.
Have a bit of fun with it. And we're a good chance. Only 5 teams in this one so far. So I reckon we might actually win that one.
Easy jerseys, man.
Easy jerseys. Boom. Let's win those jerseys. Guys, jump into the description there if you want to play along with that too. Now, for this week, last thing we want to talk about is those late changes potentially as well. So things to keep an eye out for. There's Jack Bird news, Turtle. So what I've heard so far is it came out of the Roo crew, the rugby league guru, his private group. There's a bit of mail there. Scout reshared it, Fantasy Scout, and we're now here sort of talking about it with Jack Bird. I've heard nothing super concrete, but when I hear that Jack Bird's in doubt, I tend to believe it just based on history. So I don't know. I look at this one and I go, why would they have elevated him to the starting side if he's also carrying injuries? Like, it just feels like a bit bizarre to me. So
I don't know. He's old, isn't he? He's old. He's been everywhere. He's had constant injuries throughout his career. Yep. They do have Tony Suka on the bench. Like I think you said earlier, the Tigers forward pack is pretty much unchanged. There's no point of risking him. So the annoying thing is Tigers play pretty late in the round, whereas like a lot of your other options play relatively early. So if you're looking to spend upwards to get Jack Bird, Karapani is probably, I don't know, 30, 40, 50K more expensive, but he plays the first game of the round. You won't have any news or confirmation on Jack Bird. So you might just have to go someone super cheap. Or do they play on Sunday or Saturday?
Yeah, it's late, 2 p.m. on Sunday. So
2 p.m. Sunday. So the only other team you could choose from would be like the Rabbits Manly game. So you're going to have to spend up to get like Jack Wyden or spend lower and get Isaiah Tass.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If you ended up going that way, maybe it is Tass. Maybe Tass is your backup. Maybe Tyrone Munro if you have the flexibility. Probably don't have the flexibility though. It's probably Tass, isn't it? Tass isn't the he isn't the worst option. Oh, he's pretty bad. He's not the worst option to have on the end of your bench. Like dual position, desperation cover. South Sydney theoretically get better, but he's not really in their top 17. So he's kind of a loophole. So if you're going to, you know what I mean? Because they're going to have Whiten and Graham as their centers and Munro and Johnson as their wingers. So he's not actually in their top 17. He might play off the bench, which is even worse. So if you're getting to that point, you might as well go to Kane Bradley.
Yeah, instead. Kane Bradley.
Yeah,
just hope that he scores 4 tries.
against the Cowboys, man. Like, it could happen.
Mm.
Could be a shout. Bradley plays 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. So I guess, hope that the news comes out in advance.
Mm.
Bird's a risky one. He is a risky one. Odds reduced for safe fast scoring. Got to be something in it. I'd probably steer off Bird. Just when there's smoke, there's fire a lot of the time.
Yeah. The bookies are onto something. If the bookies say that, then it's in.
Yeah, but keep an eye out for that 24-hour update, maybe. And if Bird doesn't play, buy Rodwell, same game. If you can switch to wing fullback, I agree with that. Actually, sorry, Manly do play the last game of the round, don't they? Yeah.
Manly Rabbits.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so if you have Garrick in your team, you might be able to just do a little swap there and get Rodwell instead. So if you have the flexibility, I don't mind it. If you don't have the flexibility, it's very challenging. Yeah. Right, Turtle, we're pretty much wound down for the week. So any last words for everyone here? Like, what are you thinking this week? Any big predictions or give us your wisdom, mate, because you got Simi Sasagi, so you're on a hot streak.
Simi Sasagi, 68 points. I reckon Raiders tear it up this game. I have a lot of Raiders on my team, so I'm very, very biased. Other players to explode. I feel like Rabbits, 5 or 6 game losing streak. A lot of people have picked up Turbo, and we have Garrick to fill in this week. I expect big games from both of them as well, even though like they're not playing in either of their desired positions. But both of them scored basically like 48, 49 last week. So if they do that again, they've done their job. I'm very happy with that. That's my bold prediction. Just repeat of last week, please.
Big boom, man. Big boom. I'm going to say we get some massive scores this week. I think we get a lot of big tries. I think, guys like Fiketti, Nawani Tuase, Tedesco. I think the players we want, Damien Cook, I think we're going to see a lot of them pop off massive this week. I think there's going to be a lot of conversations next week about, I don't want to sell this guy yet because he's making money and that kind of thing. So my prediction is that players go too well. They go too well, and we end up in a bit of a problem. Last minute questions here too. Anyone, fire away. If you've got any questions, drop them in now. People asking about Karaz. So Karaz is 18th man for the Blues. He will not play Origin. He will not play for club. He will also not play Origin. He's not playing. He should back up unless Brian To'o is out of Origin and he plays in Origin. In that case, I would think they might not make Karaz back up. I don't think they need to if it's a short turnaround. Couchman, the Bird, could be disastrous.
Very disastrous.
Very bad. Dragons play pretty early too, so you actually get locked out of that trade. So if you're selling Couchman, you have to be a bit more cautious. Big Teddy scoring 100 plus. I'd love to see it. A big one. 117 from Tedesco. Let's see that. Be better after last week. Yeah, so many low scorers. Yeah, we want the bounce back this week. Fingers crossed. Captaining Savala this week. Turtles 1 to 10. Love or hate?
3. I'm anti-Savala. I don't have him. I don't have him on my team.
Oh, okay. I'm going higher on that one. I'm going to say it's like a 6.5. And it gets the half because it's fun. It's a fun option. Nawani Tuase or Pappenhausen. This is such an interesting toss-up because look, I don't need the backline players. So the way I would make this decision, because logically it's kind of similar, is I would just think about both guys. And I just think, which one do I think is going to go on a tear at the end of the year? Do I think the Storm are going to run up scores and really put the foot to the throat? Or is Nawani Tuase going to benefit from Sam Walker coming back, their attack opening up a bit more and just keep on killing it? Which way do you lean here, man?
Marky Mark, I think Sam Walker coming back, he loves his cutout balls. I think he does as much cutout balls as like Latrell and Cody Walker. Like the reason why the centers don't score too much for the Rabbits is they just constantly cut out ball to Alex Johnston on the wing. So Sam Walker does the exact same thing. He can flick him either way as well. So Niall was in for a good one. And I'm pretty sure Roosters versus Storm twice in the run home. In the last 8 weeks, they verse each other twice, which is kind of ridiculous. But I reckon Niall outscores Pappy in the long run.
Big call. I'll take Paps then. If you already have the dual position guys, that kind of thing. I think they're both great options, by the way. But the counter for Paps is he goal kicks. Storm should be really good down the stretch. The dual position is really nice though. That's probably the tiebreaker.
Paps got rested because they were winning so much, and it was up against the Sharks. Like, imagine they come out and pump whichever team, and at halftime it's like 40-0. Paps is gonna like only play 40 minutes. They're gonna rest him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas Nawa was like good to go, and the Roosters aren't as good as the Storm at the moment, so they're going to be like the games might be a bit of a dogfight. So Nawa will get through his work.
Fair
I'm
shout,
backing
man.
Nawa.
So Philip, we really didn't help you there at all, but it's go with your gut. A lot of fantasy is just you got to go with your gut. Like, there's not a correct answer with a lot of these. Is it worth buying Turbo as a wing fullback or cheapy wing fullback? Personally, at this stage, I would go cheapy. 200k in the bank is worth more than Turbo this week. You're the same boat?
Yeah, like cheapy win full. The cheapy win fullbacks are not that great this week. So if it was if it was someone who had a clear definition of they're going to have job security and they get for easy work, like for example, Jed Stewart has clear job security, but he doesn't get through his work and he doesn't get fed good ball either. So it's like, nah, it's a tough one. I'll go Turbo. I have Turbo. I'll back you to get Turbo.
Turbo time. Hey, mate, at center, he was pretty good the last game. So it could be a pseudo keeper. Just bought grand final tickets up the milk. Mate, very confident there. Love the confidence. Respect the hustle. You captain Terrell, mate, all day, every day. Yeah, I think that's a good one to finish on. Strong one there. I'm captaining Terrell, mate, as well. You're captaining Terrell, mate. It feels like a Terrell, mate kind of week. But hey, if we get Turtles to drink those 50 beers this week, then the captain might move to Mr. Sunny. So,
I think I'll die if I do that.
Yeah. We'll figure out our punishment next week too for the Munster v Hughes bet. But anyway, cheers for jumping on, Turtle. Appreciate you, man.
No worries. Good luck, everyone. Enjoy your week.
Cheers, everyone. Have a good one. And tune into the NRLW if you can too.